Hi, how you
Good,
doing?
good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming out to the Fearless Online Entrepreneurs. We are a group of women, people. We also have men that we invite every now and then, but we haven't gotten here yet. Not today, anyway. But we are a group of people, entrepreneurs, that are excited about encouraging you, empowering you to become successful in your online business. And today, what we're going to be talking about is how to take 100% responsibility for your own life. A lot of times we want to blame other people for things that happen to us. We want to blame our coworkers. We want to blame our parents. We want to blame our boss. We're always in the process of blaming somebody else for what is happening in our life. And what we want to do is get you to look at who really is to blame, and not only to blame yourself for it, but to take action to change so that you can achieve the things in your life that you desire. So what we're going to be doing at first is we're going to start reading out of the book Success Principles. And as we read a little piece, we'll come and we'll mastermind on that. If you do not have that book, I want to encourage you to go over to Amazon.com and look for the Success Principles by Jack Canfield. If someone invited you to this hangout, get with them and get their affiliate link from Amazon, so that will help them out as well. And if you are ready to get started, let me know. And before I go forward, don't forget to check us out, Fearless Online Entrepreneurs, on Facebook. We have a group. We would love to have you be a part of that group. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the reading. And before we start, I just want to say thank you to my ladies for coming out to join me also. I forgot to say thank you to you all who make this book club exactly what it is, an awesome, awesome place to hang out every day. We're going to start out in reading chapter number 1, Take 100% Responsibility for Your Life. And I'm going to ask Scarlett if she would start out the reading, and then Scarlett, if you'd like to just, pass it along. You guys, have a conversation as you go, and I'll just kind of be in the background hanging out. So over to you, Scarlett. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Scarlett Roger from Tampa, Florida, and I'm going to go ahead and start reading. And thank you guys also for joining us. Principle 1, take 100% responsibility for your life. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. Jim Rohn, America's foremost business philosopher. One of the most pervasive myths in the American culture today is that we are entitled to a great life, that somehow, somewhere, certainly not us, is responsible for filling our lives with continued happiness, exciting career options, nurturing family time, and blissful personal relationships simply because we exist. But the real truth, the only one lesson this whole book is based on is there is only one person responsible for the quality of life you live. The person is you. If you want to be successful, you'd have to take 100% responsibility for everything that you experience in your life. This includes the level of achievements, the results you produce, the quality of relationships, the state of your health, the physical fitness, your income, your debts, your feelings, everything. This is not easy. In fact, most of us have been conditioned to blame, to blame something outside of ourselves for the parts of our lives we don't like. We blame our parents, our bosses, our friends, the media, our coworkers, our clients, our spouse, the weather, the economy, our astrological chart, our lack of money, anyone or anything we can pin to blame on. We never look at where the real problem is, ourselves. There's a wonderful story about a man who was walking one night and comes upon another man down on his knees looking for something under a street lamp. The passerby inquires as to what the other man is looking for. He answers that he's looking for his lost key. The passerby offers to help and gets down on his knees and helps him search for the key. After an hour of fruitless searching, he says, "We've looked everywhere for it and we haven't found it. Are you sure you lost it here?" The other man replies, "No, I lost it in my house, but there is more light out here under the street lamp." It is time to stop looking outside yourself for the answers to why you haven't created the life and the results you want. For it is you who creates the quality of life you lead and the results you produce. You, no one else. To achieve major success in life, To achieve those things that are most important to you, you must assume 100% responsibility for your life. Nothing less will do. 100% responsibility for everything. As I mentioned in the introduction, back in 1969, only 1 year out of graduate school, I had the good fortune to work for W. Clement Stone. He was a self-made multimillionaire worth $600 million at the time, and that was long before all the dot-com millionaires came along in the 90s. Stone was also an American premier success guru. He was a publisher of Success Magazine, the author of The Success System That Never Fails, and co-author of Napoleon Hill, The Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. When I was completing my first orientation, Mr. Stone asked me if I took 100% responsibility of my life. I think so, I responded. This is a yes or no question, young man. You either do or you don't. Well, I guess I'm not sure. Have you ever blamed anyone for circumstances in your life? Have you ever complained about anything? Yeah, I guess I have. Don't guess. Think. Yes, I have. Okay, then. This means you don't take 100% responsibility for your life. Taking 100% responsibility means you acknowledge that you create everything that happens to you. It means you understand that you are the cause of all of your experience. If you want to be really successful, and I know you do, then you'll have to give up blaming and complaining and take responsibility for your life. That means all your results, both your success and failures. That is a prerequisite for creating a life of success. It is only by acknowledging that you've created everything up until now that you can take charge of creating the future you want. You see, Jack, if you realize that you've created your current condition, then you can uncreate them and recreate them at will. Do you understand that? Yes, I do. Yes, sir, I do. Are you willing to take 100% responsibility for your life? Yes, sir, I am. And I did. Does anybody else want to read, or do we want to discuss this at all?
We can discuss. Well, what I took away from what you just read is, as long as you're blaming someone else for the circumstances in your life, you are evading your ability to create your life. And you're saying it's because of someone else that you are going through what you're going through. And common sense would allow you to see that you have the choices to make in everything. The choice of what you eat, where you sleep, who you're friends with, what kind of car you drive. If you make those decisions, then you have to be responsible for all the other decisions as well.
Absolutely. That's kind of like one of my mentors told me years ago, are you ready to take off the victim crown yet?
Yeah. And the other thing is, Scarlett, is you're not maturing.
Exactly.
Once you turn 18, and basically you're considered an adult. It is hard to make the transition from someone else telling you what to do to you realizing that you now have the right. All juveniles want the right of freedom to choose.
Bingo.
But they don't want to take the responsibility that comes behind their choices.
Bingo. I have one turning 18 in a month.
Some people grow up all their life with that juvenile mindset, but they want the benefits of being an adult.
Exactly. Exactly. Does anybody want to read?
Yeah, I can read.
Awesome.
You have to give up all your excuses. 99% of all failures come from people who have a habit of making excuses. George Washington Carver, chemist who discovered over 325 uses for the peanut. If you want to create the life of your dreams, then you are going to have to take 100% responsibility for your life as well. That means giving up all your excuses, all your victim stories, all the reasons why you can't and why you haven't up until now. And all your blaming of outside circumstances, you have to give them all up forever. You have to take the position that you have always had the power to make it different, to give it right, to give it right, get it right. to produce the desired results. For whatever reason, ignorance, lack of awareness, fear, needing to be right, the need to feel safe, you choose not to exercise that power. Who knows why? It doesn't matter. The past is the past. All that matters now is that from this point forward, you choose. That's right. It's a choice. You choose to act as if. That's all that's required, to act as if you are 100% responsibility for everything that does or doesn't happen to you. If something doesn't turn out as planned, you will ask yourself, how did I create that? What was I thinking? What were my beliefs? What did I say or not say? What did I do or not do to create that result? How did I get the other person to act that way? What do I need to do differently next time to get the results I want? A few years ago, I met Mr. Stone, Dr. Robert Resnick, a psychiatrist in Los Angeles. Taught me a very simple but very important formula that made this idea of 100% responsibility even clearer to me. The formula is E plus R equals 0. Event plus response equals outcome. The basic idea is that every outcome you experience in life, whether it is success or failure, excuse me, wealth or poverty, health or illness, intimacy or estrangement, joy or frustration, is the result of how you responded to an earlier event or events in your life. If you don't like the outcome you are currently getting, there are two basic choices you can make. One, you can blame the event or your lack of results. In other words, you can blame the economy, the weather, the lack of money, your lack of education, racism, gender bias, the current administration in Washington, your wife or husband, your boss, his attitude, the lack of support, the political climate, the system or the lack of systems, and so on. If you're a golfer, you've probably even blamed your clubs and the course you played on. No doubt all these factors do exist, but if they were the deciding factor, nobody would ever succeed. Jackie Robinson would never have played Major League Baseball. Sidney Poitier and Denzel Washington would have never become movie stars. Diana Friedstein and Barbara Boxer would never have become U.S. senators. Aaron Brockovich would never have uncovered Procter & Gamble's PG&E's contamination of the water in Hinckley, California. Bill Gates would never have founded Microsoft, and Steve Jobs would have never started Apple computers. For every reason why it's not possible, there are hundreds of people who have faced the same circumstances and succeeded. Lots of people overcome these so-called limiting factors. So it can't be the limiting factor that limit you. It is not the external conditions and circumstances that stop you. It is you. We stop ourselves. We think limiting thoughts and engage in self-defeating behaviors. We defend our self-destructive habits such as drinking and smoking with indefensible logic. We ignore useful feedback, fail to continuously educate ourselves and learn new skills, waste time on the trivial aspects of our lives, engage in idle gossip, eat unhealthy foods, fail to exercise, spend more money than we make, fail to invest in our future, avoid necessary conflict, fail to tell the truth, don't ask for what we want, and then wonder why our lives don't work. But this, by the way, is what most people do. They place the blame for everything that isn't the way they want it on outside events and circumstances. They have an excuse for everything. You can instead simply change your responses, which is R, to the events, which is E, the way things are until you get the outcome, the O, you want. You can change your thinking, change your communication, change the pictures you hold in your head, your images of yourself and the world, and you can change your behavior. The things you do that and the things that you do. That is all you really have control over anyway. Unfortunately, most of us are so run by our habits that we never change our behavior. We get stuck in our conditioned responses, in our spouses, and our children, to our colleagues at work, to our customers or our clients, to our students, and to the world at large. We are a bundle of conditioned reflexes that operate outside of our control. You have to gain control of your thoughts, your images, your dreams and daydreams, and your behavior. Everything you think, say, and do needs to become intentional and aligned with your purpose, your values, and your goals.
That's awesome. Does anybody have any input on or any feedback on this chapter that we've just read?
Well, as I was reading it, my mind kept going to the fact that a lot of the stuff that people do today is because they've been programmed to believe what they believe. And if you could just throw away all your beliefs and begin to question why you believe it, and look at the circumstances of what you've already been doing. If it's not giving you the life that you wanted, why do you keep doing it?
Definition of insanity.
Right.
Doing the same thing over again.
Yes. So come out of the insanity road and get on the lesser path road of resistance. You have to begin to see if your life becomes important to you, then you will begin to do what is necessary to change your mindset. And like this hangout, we invite people every day, all of us, and the numbers are growing, but they should be a lot bigger, because this is where you can get the tools and the tips and the instructions how to do this effortlessly. I know personally this has changed my mindset, and I come from a perfectionist mindset and an ego mindset of wanting to be right, and all that does is feed your own ego. It doesn't change the circumstances. So, my challenge to everyone is to commit to your own future. Let your future here and now become the most important thing to you, and then you will begin to change what you do and how you do it, and take responsibility for the choices that you make. Somebody else read?
Absolutely. Anybody else want to read? Lorraine or
Yep, I
Delilah?
can read.
Thank you.
If you don't like your outcomes, change your responses. Let's look at some examples of how this works. Do you remember the Northridge earthquake in 1994? Well, I do. I lived through it in Los Angeles. 2 days later, I watched as CNN interviewed people commuting to work. The earthquake had damaged one of the main freeways leading into the city. Traffic was at a standstill, and what was normally a 1-hour drive had become a 2 or 3 hour drive. The CNN reporter knocked on the window of one of the cars stuck in the traffic and asked the driver how he was doing. He responded angrily, "I hate California. First there were fires, then floods, and now an earthquake. No matter what time I leave in the morning, I'm going to be late for work. I just can't believe it." Then the reporter knocked on the window of the car behind him and asked the second driver the same question. This driver was all smiles. He replied, "It's no problem. I left my house at 5 a.m. I don't think under the circumstance my boss can ask for more than that. I have lots of music cassettes and my Spanish language tapes with me. I've got my cell phone, I have coffee in a thermos, my lunch, and even brought a book to read, so I'm fine. Now, if the earthquake or the traffic were really the deciding variables, then everyone should have been angry. But everyone wasn't. It was their individual response to the traffic that gave them their particular outcome. It was thinking negative thoughts or thinking positive thoughts, leaving the house prepared or leaving the house unprepared that made the difference. It was all a matter of attitude and behavior that created their completely different experiences. Do you want me to stop there or keep going?
Keep going.
I've heard there's going to be a recession. I've decided not to participate. A friend of mine owns a Lexus dealership in Southern California. When the Gulf War broke out, people stopped coming in to buy Lexus, or Lexi for any fellow Harvard graduates and Latin students out there. They knew that if they didn't change their response, R, to the event, E, of nobody coming into the showroom, they were going to slowly go out of business. Their normal response, R, would have been to continue placing ads in the newspaper and on the radio, then wait for people to come into the dealership. But that wasn't working. The outcome, O, they were getting was a steady decrease in sales, so they tried a number of new things. The one that worked was driving a fleet of new cars out to where the rich people were, the country clubs, marinas, polo grounds, parties in Beverly Hills and Westlake Village, and then inviting them to take a spin in the new Lexus. Now think about this. Have you ever test driven a new car and then got back into your old car? Remembering that feeling of dissatisfaction you felt as you compared your old car to the new car you had just driven? Your old car was fine up to then, but suddenly you knew there was something better, and you wanted it. The same thing happened with these folks. After test driving the new car, a high percentage of the people bought or leased a new Lexus. The dealership had changed their response, R, to an unexpected event, E, the war, until they got the outcome, O, they wanted, increased sales. They actually ended up selling more cars per week than before the war broke out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you very much for reading for us. You know, I love that story. That's kind of like when, you know, I had that same experience when I was in the mortgage business and the foreclosure crisis hit. Then, you know, what was the easiest thing with the tools that I had was to go into the foreclosure world. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
Well,
Okay.
they definitely found a new way to market the Lexus, because that,
I
you know,
know.
thinking as she was reading that, when you know, that's all part of co-creation too, is and visualization. When you go and you feel the new car that you want, and you know, you have a stronger visualization of you driving the car and things like that until you actually co-create into your life. And that is a real biggie, because if you've never experienced it, then you wouldn't know how to visualize it. You wouldn't know that the energy and your emotions attached to being behind the wheel of the car you want versus the car you got. So that I do understand that part of what she was reading made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, it reminded me of watching The Secret, the movie The Secret.
Yes.
Where the guy's saying, you know, pretend, you know, like you're in the car and you're driving, but on this one you're actually, you know, going for the test drive, which I've done as well as, you know, in the past of, you know, going to do test drive a car that I wanted, and you know, little by little, you know, you come to get it, and that's how it works.
True. That's why, you know, they suggest the visualization, visualization. I can't get that word out. As well as building a vision board, so you can keep what you want in front of you. So you're focused, because energy flows where your focus goes. And if your focus is on the car that you've got the dealer's picture up on your vision board, you remember when you go test drive it, you remember the emotions you felt when you were in it, and then you get back in your old car, and then the desire, you know, is greater for you to have that vehicle.
Awesome.
And that works with everything, like, you want a new home. You want to start gathering ideas for your new home of what you really want by experiencing, every year here in Cincinnati, they have the home show. And my mother loved it. She loved that show. She went every year as long as I can remember while she was alive. And she would get at decorating ideas. Now, she didn't want a bigger house. She didn't want a new house. But she wanted the decorating ideas, how to fix her house like what they had. And she was forever redoing a room in our home.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome.
that was how my mom used co-creation to fix what we already had.
Okay, I will. Oh, wait a minute. I'll pick up here. Unless anybody else. Does anybody else want to read?
Well, we got Sharon and Lorraine here.
I'll read
I see
for you,
Miss
Miss
Sharon. Hi,
Scarlett.
Miss Sharon.
How are
So
you, my
glad to
dear?
see you. You
Glad
look
to be here.
beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. Everything you experience today is the result of choices you have made in the past. Everything you experience in life, both internally and externally, is the result of how you have responded to a previous event. Event: you are given $400 bonus. Response: you spend it on a night on the town. Outcome: you are broke. Wow. Event: you are given a $400 bonus. Response: you invested in your mutual funds. Outcome: you have an increased net worth. Now that makes sense. You only have control over three things in your life: the thoughts you think, the images you visualize, and the actions you take, your behavior. How you use these three things determine everything you experience. If you don't like what you are producing and experiencing, you have to change your response. Change your negative thoughts to positive ones. Change what you daydream about. Change your habits. Change what you read. Change your friends. Change how you talk. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you'll keep on getting what you've always got. 12-step programs such as Alcoholics Anonymous defines insanity as continuing the same behavior and expecting a different result. It ain't gonna happen. If you are an alcoholic and you keep on drinking, your life is not going to get any better. Likewise, if you continue your current behavior, your life is not going to get any better either. The day you change your response is the day your life will begin to get better. If what you are currently doing won't produce the more and better that you are seeking in life, the more and better would have already shown up. If you want something different, you're going to have to do something different. You have to give up blaming. All blame is a waste of time. No matter how much fault you find with another, and regardless of how much you blame him, it will not change you. Wayne Dyer, co-author of How to Get What You Really, 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 Really Want. I like that. You will never become successful as long as you continue to blame someone or something else for your lack of success. If you're going to be a winner, and you have to acknowledge the truth, it is you who took the actions, thought the thoughts, created the feelings, and made the choices that got you to where you are now. It was you. You are the one who ate the junk food. You are the one who didn't say no. You are the one who took the job. You are the one who stayed in the job. You are the one who chose to believe them. You are the one who ignored your intuition. You are the one who abandoned your dreams. You are the one who bought it. You are the one who didn't take care of it. You are the one who decided you have to do it alone. You are the one who trusted him. You are the one who said yes to the dogs. Wow. In short, you 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 thought the thoughts. You created the feelings. You made the choice. You said the words. And that's why you are where you are now. You have to give up complaining. The man who complains about the way the ball bounces is likely the one who dropped it. Lou Holtz, the only coach in NCAA history to lead 6 different college teams to postseason bowl games and a winner of a national championship and coach of the year honors. Let's take a moment to really look at complaining. In order to complain about something or someone, you have to believe that something better exists. You have to have a reference point of something you prefer that you are not willing to take responsibility for creating. Let's look at that more closely. If you didn't believe there was something better possible, more money, a bigger house, a more fulfilling job, more fun, a more loving spouse, you couldn't complain. So you have to imagine you have so you have the image of something better, and you know what you would prefer it, but you are unwilling to take the risk that would be required to create it. Think about this. People only complain about things they can do something about. We don't complain about the things we have no power over. Have you ever heard anyone complain about gravity? No, never. Have you heard about um any no, never. Have you ever seen an elderly person all bent over with age walking down the street complaining about gravity? Of course not. But why not? If it weren't for gravity, people would fall down the stairs. Planes wouldn't fly out of the sky, and we wouldn't break any dishes. But nobody complains about it. And the reason is because gravity just exists. There is nothing anyone can do about gravity, so we just accept it. We know that complaining will not change it, so we don't complain about it. In fact, because it just is, we use gravity to our advantage. We build aqueducts down mountainsides to carry water to us, and we use drains to take away our waste. Even more interesting is that we choose to play with gravity to have fun with it. Almost every sport we play uses gravity. We ski dive, high jump, throw the discus and the javelin, and play basketball and baseball and golf, all of which require gravity. The circumstances you complain about are, by their very nature, situations you can change, but you have chosen not to. You can get a better job, find a more loving partner, make more money, live in a nicer house, live in a better neighborhood, and eat healthier food. But all of these things won't require you to change. If you refer to the list found earlier in this chapter, you could learn to cook healthier food, say no in the face of peer pressure, quit and find a better job, take the time to conduct due diligence, trust your own gut feelings, go back to school to pursue your dreams, take better care of your possessions, reach out for help, ask others to assist, take a self-development class, sell or give away the dogs. But Why don't you simply do those things? It's because they involve risk. You run the risk of being unemployed, left alone, or ridiculed and judged by others. You run the risk of failure, confrontation, or being wrong. You run the risk of your mother, your neighbors, or your spouse disapproving of you. Making a change, making a change takes effort, money, and time. It might be uncomfortable, difficult, or confusing. And so, to avoid risking any of these uncomfortable feelings and experiences, you stay put and complain about it. As I stated before, complaining means you have a reference point for something better that you would prefer, but you are unwilling to take the risk of creating. Either accept that you are making the choices to stay where you are, take responsibility for your choice, and stop complaining, or take the risk of creating your life exactly the way you want it. If you want to get from where you are to where you want to be, of course you're going to have to take the risk. So make the decision to stop complaining, to stop spending time with complainers, and get on with it, creating the life of your dreams. You're complaining to the wrong person. Have you ever noticed that people almost always complain to the wrong person? To people who can't do anything about their complaints? They go to work and complain about their spouse. Then they come home and complain to their spouse about the people at work. Why? Because it's easier. It's less risky. It takes courage to tell your spouse that you are not happy with the way things are at home. It takes courage to ask for a behavior change. It also takes courage to ask your boss to plan better so that you don't end up working every weekend. But only your boss can do anything about that. Your spouse can't. Learn to replace complaining with making requests and taking action that will achieve your desired outcome. That is what successful people do. That is what works. If you find yourself in a situation you don't like, either work to make it better or leave. Do something to change it or get the heck out. Agree to work on the relationship or get a divorce. Work to improve working conditions or find a new job. Either way, you will get a change. As the old adage say, don't just sit there and complain. Do something. And remember, it's up to you to make the change, to do something different. The world doesn't owe you anything. You have to create it.
That was awesome, Miss Sharon. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Um, I don't know about you, but I know for myself that that was so me just a few years ago. And, I found when my mindset had shifted, also the little issue of gossiping had gone away a little bit too, because, that's where a lot of that stems from. And and I don't know about any of you guys, and definitely you guys speak too, but I don't have as much tolerance for complainers anymore, and it's just I just the more I get healthier and the more that I'm with a healthier group, just like you guys every day, the more when I'm around it with other people, I kind of walk away. So anybody else have anything to say?
Yes, that is so true. Um, since I've been around like-minded entrepreneurs, my way of thinking about things have changed. Keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, like you said, is insanity. So, you need to stop complaining. If you have a vision and a dream that you want to achieve, you have your roadmap all mapped out, but it's not working. So you need to make a little tweak to it and do something different. Don't change the goals and dreams that you want, but you change the way you get there. And then you will see that you will stop complaining. Why? Because you will be one of the successful people, and then you can go out and help somebody else to accomplish their goals and dreams. And that's what Lucky is aspiring to do, is to help others to achieve their goals and dreams and to have success in their life.
This
That's awesome.
chapter reaches real close to where I was enabling too many people that I was connected to be weak and be whiners and complainers. This book is a great eye opener. I have less tolerance now for people that I sponsor. If I can show you where the information is, I've learned if you haven't even gone and looked at it, I don't waste my time with you. I am here to help you help yourself. And I say it, but I wasn't doing it. I would actually invest a lot of valuable time in the people and end up doing the steps with them or for them. And the last book we read woke me up to the fact I was doing that. This just confirmed it. So I now am not wasting as much time as I used to with people that won't take responsibility for their own success. And that seems to be the mindset of a lot of people. They sign up and they think their sponsor is supposed to be the all to their success, and they're not doing anything to have it themselves. So this is a great book for people to take and examine themselves and see if you are taking responsibility for your success, and also are you enabling people not to take responsibility for themselves. Because sometimes, the mindset can be a good sponsor is always there for somebody, but you don't do the work for them. And that was a mistake I was making.
This would be a great video. This when it converts to YouTube would be a great thing, I think, after I get to the point with the people on my team to watch this and just say, hey, do me a favor and watch this and give me your feedback on what you thought about this.
I agree, Scarlett. In fact, a lot of this is going into my series of emails that I'm sending out to new signups.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
And I agree that, we like Deborah said, we enabled our team not to succeed because we're holding their hand. If we have the material in the back office for you to follow step by step by step, then why are you coming and asking us to help you? If you know that the information is there, you need to take the initiative to secure your future. We are here to guide you and help you and advise you, not to do the work for you. It's up to you to do the work, but we will be there to support you and help you in any way we can. But you have to show us that you are taking the initiative to try and learn the material. And if you really and truly get stuck on something, that's when we come in. But not to come in and set up your business for you, tell you where to do this and do that, and set up your that is being provided for you, along with the 9 times out of 10 with the email swaps to go into your autoresponder. So you need to take the initiative to set your business up and get the help that you need when you need it, but not for somebody to hold your hand from the beginning to the end. Only if you really and truly don't understand, I can understand that, but you have to first show me that you have tried to do that.
You're so right about that, Sharon. So many of them, you send them to a video to look at, and they come back and ask you the same question, and in your gut, you didn't even bother looking at the video.
Yeah, I know.
So many people are blaming their sponsor for their lack of success. And I'm no longer allowing that. I'm not taking that personally anymore. And I'm saying, well, I have a question that I come back to and say, well, what have you done? What exactly did you do after you've seen the video? Did you follow the steps in the video? Because that's the thing that they've been putting together. Video is big. They've been putting together the information so it's right there in front of you, and no one should have any excuse. The excuses have been they don't want to take the time to do what you've done. So you got to send them right back to where they're supposed to start. And I tell
Exactly.
people all the time, look at the video once and then go back and do the step as you look at it again, because you never get it the first time.
Absolutely.
And I don't care what the learning curve is. People learn in different ways. I like to identify people's best ways of comprehension. But we all are visual audio people. That may not be the same for everybody as their best method of learning, but everyone is a visual audio person, or they wouldn't have television. Think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would like to add to what was said was, think about the time that it took for them to work with you to get the information. The same time it could have took for them to sit down and watch the video. It's still getting somebody is talking to you, and you're still working with somebody one-on-one. The advantage of the video, you can stop it anytime you want.
Exactly. You stop it, do the
Back
task,
it
go
up
back to the video.
And watch it as many times as you need to.
Exactly.
Therefore, if you're working in a fear mode of a learning disability, that's why the video is so good, because you can watch it over and over and over. And then the question should be, maybe there is some language in the video you don't comprehend. Use Google. Great thing. It's the best thing ever invented in technology. You can Google a word and get the definition, the meaning behind a word. So when you come back and say, well, I don't know what they mean, why not?
That's taking initiative to learn.
Yeah. And that's taking responsibility for what you do.
Exactly.
Because you should always be in learning mode. You should always be in teaching mode. Otherwise, you don't get it.
And if they fail, then they say it's our fault. Because you know why?
And I don't understand that.
Because we took the responsibility to take the time to sit down with them, for them to understand what they were supposed to do. So since we did that, it was our responsibility that they failed, because when we sit down and took that time with them, they saying that we took the ownership with them. So when they don't succeed, hey, it's your fault, the sponsor's fault. I failed. I worked with you and I still don't get it. So yeah.
Well, we know now that that's not true.
Yeah, and we don't want to get in the habit of them becoming complainers about our people either. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great video to send them back to, and help them take personal responsibility, and then you can kind of weed them out here. You can weed out what's going to work and what's not going to work, and maybe they've learned something, and we've planted a seed into their mind, and then they can come back to it later. As long as we're planting the seeds, you never know if they don't just decide when they keep seeing the results to come back and make a difference. Some people just are more stuck than others.
This reverberates for me as to why so many people program jump. Because they don't take responsibility for where they are and learn all that they can learn about that one program and be successful with that one before they jump in on another. We all can be victims of mass distraction. If we choose to. That's another, I forget what he labeled that. The result is, if you allow the distraction to take your focus off of where you are, then yeah, you're beginning to fail before you get started. Because you're still going to have to do the same thing in the next program you jump in. You're going to have to invest your time, learn everything you can learn about that program or that opportunity, and implement the steps. So if you are not taking responsibility for you and your success, then your results will be the same. And then so many people run around talking about scam. A real scam is one they take your money, give you nothing in return, and walk away and shut the site down. But I see
Exactly.
many sites still up that people have jumped from and called it a scam. And now it just is so clear to me why you feel it was a scam, because you wasn't taking responsibility for what you should have been doing.
Yep. Does anybody want to read the next part? Anyone? No?
Yeah, I'll read it.
I mean, I can read if you want me to.
It's okay. You either
Okay, cool. Thank you.
okay,
Thank
you
you, Miss
either
Deborah.
create or allow everything that happens to you. Boy, we was just talking about that.
Exactly.
To be powerful, you need to take the position that you create or allow everything that happens to you. By create, I mean that you directly cause something to happen by your actions or inactions. Did we not just say that?
Yes, ma'am.
If you walk up to a man in a bar who is bigger than you, has obviously been drinking for a long time, and says to him, "You are really ugly and stupid," and he jumps off the bar stool and hits you in the jaw, and you end up in the hospital, you created that. That's an easy to understand example. Here's one that may be harder to swallow. Excuse me. You work late every night. You come home tired and burnt out. You eat dinner in a coma, and then sit down in front of the television to watch a basketball game. You're too tired and stressed out to do anything else, like go for a walk or play with the kids. This goes on for years. Your wife asks you to talk to her. You say later. 3 years later, you come home to an empty house and a note that says that she has left you and taken the kids. You created that one too. Other times, we simply allow things to happen to us by our inaction and our unwillingness to do what is necessary to create or maintain what we want. You don't follow through on your threats to take away privileges if the kids didn't clean up after themselves, and now the house looks like a war zone. You didn't demand he join you in counseling or leave the first time he hit you, so now you're still getting hit. You didn't attend any sales and motivational seminars because you were too busy, and now the new kid just won the top sales award. You didn't take the time to take the dogs to the obedience training, and now they're out of control. You didn't take time to maintain your car, and now you're sitting by the side of the road with your car broken down. You didn't go back to school, and now you are being passed over for a promotion. Realize that you are not the victim here. You stood passively by and let it happen. You didn't say anything, make a demand, make a request, say no, try something new, or leave. Yellow alerts. Be aware that nothing ever just happens to you. Just like the yellow alerts in the old Star Trek television series, you almost always receive advance warning in the form of telltale signs. Comments from others, gut instinct or intuition that alert you to the impending danger and give you time to prevent the unwanted outcome. You are getting yellow alerts all the time. There are external yellow alerts. He keeps coming home later and later with alcohol on his breath. The client's first check bounced. He screamed at his secretary. His mother warned you. Your friends told you. And there are internal yellow alerts. That feeling in your stomach, that inkling you had, that fleeting thought that just maybe, that intuition, that fear that emerged, that dream that woke you up in the middle of the night. We have a whole language that informs us. Clues, inklings, suspicions, the handwriting on the wall. I had a feeling that I could see it coming for a mile. My gut feeling told me. It's funny, I can identify with all those. These alerts give you time to change your response. In the E plus R equals 0 equation, However, too many people ignore the yellow alerts because paying attention to them would require them to do something that is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to confront your spouse about the cigarettes in the ashtray that have lipstick on them. It is uncomfortable to speak up in a staff meeting when you are the only one who feels that the opposed plan won't work. It is uncomfortable to tell someone you don't trust them. So you pretend not to see and not to know because it is easier, more convenient, and less uncomfortable. Avoids confrontation, keeps the peace, and protects you from having to take risks. Life becomes much clearer, much easier. Successful people, on the other hand, face facts squarely. They do the uncomfortable and take steps to create their desired outcomes. Successful people don't wait for disasters to occur and then blame something or someone else for their problems. Once you begin to respond quickly and decisively to signals and events as they occur, life becomes much easier. You start seeing improved outcomes, both internally and externally. Old internal self-talk, such as, I feel like a victim, I feel used, nothing ever seems to work out for me, is replaced with, I feel great, I am in control, I can make things happen. External outcomes such as, nobody ever comes to our store, we missed our quarterly goals, people are complaining that our new product doesn't work, are transformed into, we have more money in the bank, I lead the division in sales, our product is flying off the shelves. It's simple. The bottom line is that you are the one who is creating your life the way it is. The life you currently live is the result of all your past thoughts and actions. You are in charge of your current thoughts and your present feelings. You are in charge of what you say and what you do. You are also in charge of what goes into your mind, the books and magazines you read, the movies and television shows you watch, and the people you hang out with. Every action is under your control. To be more successful, all you have to do is act in ways that produce more of what you want. That's it. It's that simple.
Hey, Deborah, where are you at? What page?
Page 32. At the bottom of 32, but I think we're at the top of the hour now. So I was thinking that we stop here because that one is kind of long.
Okay, so it's page number 32 or the numbers at the top left for the PDF?
The top of the PDF is 32 out of the 44.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
Simply
so,
isn't necessarily easy is where we are.
Okay, thank you very much for everyone for taking over with the reading. I really, really appreciate it. Did anyone have any last thoughts, any last comments, anything that a nugget that would really make a person feel empowered and feel like they can walk away and that they can be responsible for their life? Anyone have any last comments for those who are listening in or here on the panel?
Well, I'd like to say that if you are struggling at what you need to be doing to change your life, look at someone that you admire and think is successful, and study them and see how they are reacting and how they are doing to get the results that they're getting. I personally listened to Warren Buffett. He put a series of videos out on YouTube very recently, and I was listening to him in regard to the present economy and how you can be making money in this economy we're in, and they were very informative. And one of the things that he was saying was, you can start right where you are. It's just what you choose to put your money into, and always have the mindset that the money needs to be making you more money. Stop living with above your means and really have a passion for what you choose to be involved with. And it makes a lot of sense to me what he's saying. I'm retooling my series of emails on the basis of what he shared with us in those videos. And that's what these few chapters that we just read were saying. By taking responsibility of your, see, a lot of people are walking around thinking, okay, they're stuck, and you're not. You just haven't, taken responsibility for the path and the work that you got to do to come out of where you are. The past is the past. You have to start right here and now with a new mindset of moving forward, and stick with where you are in the choices that you make, and learn everything you can about it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Deborah. Anyone else have any last comments they want to share, or look on your feed and see if anyone has any questions or they have something to share? I know I did see over on the Q&A, I saw Marcel ask some questions. And Marcel, I'm sorry for getting here at the late hour. I just had a family member call with some things that are going on with my uncle's funeral, so I was not here. But he just said that he would like to chime in, and hi everyone. So Marcel, hi, thank you for joining us today, and please forgive me for not getting back to you so soon. Anyone else have anything else they want to share before we close the hangout out? Or did we get any questions or comments?
The one thing that I wanted to share with the newbies out there, or anyone, that in order to achieve success, it's going to take a time and effort in the beginning to set your business up. But once you get your business set up and running, then you can figure out ways that your business can run on autopilot. But in the beginning, it is going to take time. Everyone thinks that, oh, I can get into this program, and once I'm in this program, hey, it's going to be quick and easy. No, it takes work. Some people are fortunate, yes, and they might achieve success sooner than others because they take what? Massive action. And if you take the action too, you can achieve success as well.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I appreciate that. If there are no other questions, no more comments, I just want to say thank you to each one of you for coming out to today's Hangout Mastermind session. And my takeaway is simply this. It's all about what you think. If you think that you can't, then you won't. If you think that you can, then you will. And I would like to encourage each one of you listening to always be working on your mind, always working on the way you see a situation. And if you think of it as negative, then that's the result that you'll get. If you change that around and decide, I'm going to think positive in this entire situation, and it could be the worst thing in life that you can have, that can happen to you. Depending on how you view it is how you will overcome it and deal with it. So those are my thoughts for you today. I want to say thank you very much for each one of you for coming out. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. If you are on my page, Fearless Online Entrepreneurs, the actual Facebook page, I won't be here tomorrow, so I'm going to encourage you to go over to Fearless Online Entrepreneurs, and one of the ladies in the panel will post the link for you in that group. So go over to Fearless Online Entrepreneurs on Facebook, ask to join, and then one of them will post the link in there for you to come and listen in tomorrow. Again, we really appreciate you coming. If you found value, we're going to ask you to subscribe. If you found the information helpful and useful, we're going to ask that you like, comment, leave us your thoughts, leave us what your takeaway was. What is today's hangout? And if there's nothing else, we want to say thank you again for coming to join us. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.